Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions for another round of League One predictions. Who knows what number we're up to? We're putting 27. It could be any number that you like. Quickly, let's update on how we did for the last weekend's round, because I won a return to form in the predictions chase. I think I lost the week before, but I'm back to form. I think I'm not even looking at the scores, but I know I'm ahead maybe by 2 or 3, which is awesome. Let's hope that continues. I'm not picking out a comment. There was just one comment that came to light that just said, please don't miss out any more rounds. We can't help it. We can't help it. There's so many games in such a short space of time. Look, I've been carrying Tom on this channel for 2.5 years now. Sometimes my back just needs a little bit of a rest. Bear with me and bear that in mind as we jump in to the first match.
Sunderland versus Gillingham.
Thomas, Sunderland are on fire. They're on fire. They're back.
Sure. I mean, they've won 2 games in a row. So,
yes.
Yeah, top of the table. They're going to win it all.
Yeah, they've another 1-0 win today. They had to rely on Ipswich getting a red card after 29 minutes. Or it might have even been earlier than that. It was 10 minutes. 10 minutes, Caden Jackson decided to get sent off, and Sunderland managed to powerhouse their way past them with a 1-0 win. Genuinely good for Sunderland. Hopefully that will just kind of appease the fans for at least a day or two. But
fair play to him for all the shit we've given him. Now, if you look on a form guide, it is three wins out of lost 4 games. So
yeah, it is. But they do come up against the Gillingham side, who've also found a little bit of form themselves. 2 wins and a draw.
Cracking win over Crewe Alexandra. And we'll talk about Crewe in a minute. But they were dominant in this game. I think they well deserved the win. They took the lead in the 11th minute through a penalty, and from there went from strength to strength. Crewe got a late consolation goal in the 80th, but it takes nothing away from a really good performance. And Crewe 10-game unbeaten run ended by Gillingham. It was a big win for them.
Yeah, massive win, yeah. And like they just returned to a little bit of form. Back into like mid-table now. What do we reckon? Narrow win for Sunderland?
I'm burned. I'm burned every time I go against Sunderland. I'm burned every time I go for Sunderland. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay, well, I'll take your score out of your hands. So you can't pick
2-1?
it. And I'll go 1-1 in this one.
Oh, balls.
But you always get burned on it. I've been picking up points off that lately. So
2-1 to the Black Cats.
Get in there. AFC, oh my lord. AFC Wimbledon versus the Milton Keynes Dons.
This may be the greatest derby match that Britain has to offer the world, Mr. Allen. The greatest.
I'm amazed that they are even allowing MK Dons to set foot on their hallowed Wimbledon turf.
Despite there being no fans, we can expect thousands of policemen on set because there's going to be fighting everywhere. The fan groups are going to be tough. They're going to be at each other's throats.
Even if we weren't in a pandemic, would there be fans?
I mean, I don't think either team has supporters, so probably not.
Probably not. And right, let's just say both sides not doing especially well. Wimbledon absolutely doing terribly. I think they've only picked up like 1 point out of the last God knows how many games. So they really need a win in this one. So which one is it going to be? Milton Keynes Dons 1 or Milton Keynes Dons 2, Thomas? Which one takes the spoils away?
I'm going to assume it's MK Dons, so I believe that's Wimbledon 2.0 to pick up a win here because AFC Wimbledon have been Christ god awful. And I am going to go by the scoreline of 2-0.
I am going to go for a 2-1 win for Wimbledon, which makes that a 2-1 win for MK Dons Mark II.
I have no idea what's happening, so I'm going to move us on now. Blackpool versus Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's Burton Albion.
This should be an interesting game because
It's a different team, Ian. It's a different team now. They're a different team.
But Blackpool aren't. They're still as batshit crazy as they always are.
Yeah, but they won the last games. They have to lose the next one. It's the rules.
That does seem to be some sort of ruling around Blackpool. But they are coming off a 5-0 hammering of Wigan Athletic, which Burton will be pleased at that they've actually managed to put Wigan to the sword in that one. But Burton, I don't think they've played in a while. They didn't play at the weekend, and so
they up until like 2 weeks ago, they were like 4 or 5 games ahead of everybody. So all these makeup rounds and stuff, they've been able to sit out of. They haven't been playing in the cup, so they've just been watching everyone else from a distance.
So they need a win. It is almost getting to the point. It's not. There's still so many games.
Let me stop you here.
I'm not going to say it. There's so many games left. I'm not going to say it.
The Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank revolution has begun. He believes they can win. They believe they can win. And we all know that out of the bottom 4 teams, pardon me, they probably are the best side and they should be nowhere near this. And it is going to be a big win for Burton Albion. Jimmy Floyd is actually going to put himself on and score a hat-trick, and the game will end 4-0 to Burton Albion.
Absolute madness that you've picked the bottom club to beat Blackpool. I'm not going for that. I think this one, I do think Burton are good enough to get a draw, and I think this one will end in a Desmond. I think it'll be 2-2.
Ian, I'm just saying, if Burton win 4-0, I claim a bonus point. It's 4 points, not 3. Fair?
You know what? If they do win 4-0, I will. Of course, you can have a bonus point on that one.
Common sense tells me you're fucking nuts bickering.
Bristol Rovers versus Rochdale.
Oh, Bristol Rovers. I mean, that result against Oxford, not great, but they've gone to Peterborough and picked up a 0-0 draw, which is an extremely respectable result for a club that are on a really bad run of form there.
Especially as the way, I mean, we watched that game. Rovers looked so poor at the back against Oxford. I'm amazed they were able to go up against Peterborough, who were really good at home, and get a 0-0 draw. So absolutely credit to them.
But Ian, their opponents.
Rochdale are the most bizarre side I've ever seen play football in my life.
Really quickly, anybody wants to see it, check up. The card is up there. It'll probably be on the closing screen as well. Me and Ian did a really quick video after Oxford vs Rochdale, and his analysis is nigh on hilarious. I loved it.
Rochdale, they play the way they attack. They are up there with the best sides in this league. The way they defend, they are the worst side. They are appalling at the back, give away so many sloppy goals. But I have to give them credit for the way they play with a lot of adventure going forward. And it's no surprise that they've scored a shitload, conceded a shitload, and they continue to have these high-scoring draws. Or in the case, Oxford just managed to nick it late, and we'll get to that one. I can't see anything different in this one. I'm going to go for. I'll let you go first, but I'm going for a big score.
Yeah. Really quickly, I'm going 3-3, but I just want to state the only clubs that have scored as many or more goals than Rochdale this season: Charlton Athletic in 6th, Hull City in 2nd. That's it. Equally, teams that have conceded more goals: Swindon and Burton.
Wow. It's there. I think Rovers will get a win here. I'm going to go for a 3-2. Actually, I'm going to go for 4-3. Rovers win. And so that's back-to-back 4-3 defeats for my beloved Dale. That's going to hurt.
Yeah. Oxford, Ian's favourite club. I was going to say Oxford's favourite club. Oxford's favourite club, Rochdale.
It's like their manager, Brian Barry Murphy, is Rochdale's manager. It's like he's read one book in his life, and it's like the Ozzy Ardiles guide to playing to managing a football club,
with forward by Kevin Keegan,
which is just the same. Which is just attack.
There's actually a whole page that it just says laterally score in like size 35 font. Anyway, enough of this madness. Charlton Athletic versus Portsmouth.
Thomas, some of these clubs in League One, you feel we've sussed it, and we think like, right, that's it. You know, Pompey, they're in great form. They've clicked now. They're going to storm up the league, and then they have a stinker of a week that they've just had here, battered by Hull City. They follow that one up with a pretty another side. They've lost to another one of the top sides. They've lost at home again. They lost to Lincoln. They did have 10 men. Watmore, he's had a good week, hasn't he? A couple of own goals and a red card.
Is that how we say? Is it Watmore?
I think so, yeah.
I'm glad one of us can pronounce it.
Well, I'm assuming it wasn't Watmouth, like you were calling him.
Watmogue. I didn't pronounce anyone's name that correctly that day, though. I was really enjoying that.
So they've had back-to-back defeats. No doubt they're all screaming down south about Jacket getting the sack.
Which despite conceding all those goals, still the best defence in the country.
I thought Oxford were. But so this will be another tricky game. A tricky game for them. Charlton, again, they're a bit all over the place with their form. They got a 1-0 win against Milton Keynes Dons, which is more like the Charlton we come to expect than when we saw them draw 2-2 against Swindon. But this one should be close, I think.
2-1 Portsmouth.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go 2-1 Charlton. Let's be different.
Oh, it's heating up in the League One. Crewe, Alexandra versus Ipswich Town. Yeah, you don't get to announce teams. I announce whatever teams I want.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Well, we were going to talk about Crewe, weren't we? So let's talk about them now. Now it's Crewe's turn. Let's talk about them.
They were on a 10-game unbeaten run, but they were not winning a lot of the games. They've drawn quite a few recently. They've been slowly sliding down the table. They're in a playoff place about 4 weeks ago. Now they find themselves in 9th. They're 4 points off the playoffs. And their form has kind of steadied a little bit. And it was not a great result for them today. And by not a great result, I mean they conceded 4 goals.
Yeah, it was a hammer. They took a hammer in at Gillingham today. But that's been unusual, isn't it? And they'll hope that is just a blip in what has been a good run. I tell you, Ipswich are nowhere near the playoffs for me this season. I don't see it. I think I can't see them.
And yet, in the table, it's 9th versus 10th, and Ipswich have 3 games in hand over Crewe and are only a point behind them.
Yeah, they do, but it's just the fact that, and I know Oxford haven't beaten any of the top sides, but I think Ipswich have lost to, all the top sides this season. I don't think they've taken points off any of the top teams, and that is just, I just can't see them being strong enough to, get into the playoffs.
It's the same baggage that follows Ipswich around all the time as well. They cannot put a run of form together at all. I mean, but they can't do it.
With the players I know Jackson got sent off today, but with Norwood up front as well and Jackson, they should be absolutely smashing in goals. And they've only scored 26, which is a really poor return. I feel it's just not working. I can't see how Lambert's still in the job. And I know if there are any Ipswich fans, we'd love to hear from you and comment just on that exact point. Because I've just talked about how I don't really think Ipswich are going to get in the playoffs, I'm going to have to back Crewe to win. 2-0 Crewe.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Crewe.
Here we are. Here's Lambs to the slaughter. Lambs to the slaughter. Hull City versus the side that shall not be named.
The side that shall not be named actually moved up a position despite being beaten 2-0 today because Wigan conceded so many goals. Their goal difference dropped them below it. Swindon don't look good. I don't think they're going to get anything out of this. I don't think we need to say a huge amount. I think Hull are going to win this. I think Hull are going to win this 3-0 and return to winning ways.
Exactly, yeah. They need to jump back after a poor loss today against Accrington. I know you cannot wait to talk about that one, but
sorry, a poor loss?
From their point of view, Tom's a shocker. I'm just going to leave it there. No. We'll get to talk about Accrington. To hammer Pompey and then lose to Accrington Stanley is a very, very strange set of results, but they are coming up against the side that shall not be named, who seem to want to sign every player in a vain attempt to try and turn their form around. It isn't going to happen. It is going to be Hull City 4. It is going to be Swindon Town 0.
A battering, Ian. An absolute battering. But here we have it. It's time for a big match in this League One season. As top of the table, Lincoln City battle with 4th place, Doncaster Rovers.
It's a wonderful accent you've put on for some reason in that one. Right, this one should be a belter of 2 sides in great form. It's a derby as well, and Lincoln City are flying. Doncaster are flying themselves too. Very unlucky in the FA Cup. Lincoln have just had a great result today against Pompey. I don't know who to pick in this one.
Let me do the work for you, lad. It's going to be 2-0 to Lincoln City.
You would think so. I think Doncaster are good enough to get a point, and this is a real marker for them. If they can beat this Lincoln side, that will really kind of put them show if there was any lag in doubt or any doubt to anyone else to show that they're up there fighting for promotion. it will be expunged if it will be expelled if they beat this Lincoln City side, and I think it will be a draw. I think it will be a 1-1 draw. Plymouth Argyle. It's your line, Thomas. It's your line.
What's this? Accrington Stanley?
Green Army.
Oh shit! Sorry.
No, that's it. We got
no. Do it again.
No. We're going to talk about it. We only had one take.
Right. Well, ruined it. Oh, why'd you put up with me? Anyone available to do this channel? All right. Anyway,
please do write in. Please do.
Accrington Stanley continued what is honestly the craziest promotion push of a side since Wycombe Wanderers somehow went up in the playoffs. They are a tiny club. They are currently 8th. They're 4 points off promotion, but they get at least 3 games in hand over the teams above them. And they have just come off a fantastic victory over Hull. They actually lost to them 3-0 last week, but it seemed like they learned from their mistakes. They won 2-0. Hull did have a goal ruled out for offside, but they were fantastic. Joe Pritchard got a great goal from 18 yards. And I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint it, but John Coleman's doing something really well with his Accrington Stanley side. I've been making jokes all season about how good they are, but they're doing fantastically. And they seem to just keep winning by the odd goal or two. And I love this Accrington Stanley side, and they're going to beat Plymouth Argyle 1-0.
I don't know how Accrington Stanley can carry on being so lucky. There have been one side this season that found them out and beat them, put them to the sword, quite rightly, and that was Oxford by 4-1. But hopefully Plymouth will do that as well. You know, something really funny. Plymouth away wins are like London buses. They wait around for one, and then 2 come along at once. But they're in a great run of form. And I think that only loss they've had in recently is that one to Oxford. Other than that, they have been in really, really good form and like not flown up the league, but they've actually like banked quite a lot of points and put any relegation fears that their fans might have had to one side for now. And I think that Plymouth will win. I think Plymouth will win 2-1.
Scum. You know what you're talking about. Shrewsbury Town versus Peterborough United.
I can't remember Shrewsbury having a league game in fucking ages. I think they must have done, but they've been in like cups and then they've had COVID and like
they were on a really good run of form until was it today that they lost?
Did they play today?
No, they didn't play today.
No, the game was
really
today,
good.
Wasn't it?
They were really they were really good form until they lost 1-0 to Sunderland last week. Absolutely,
they were, and they're quite good at home, and they've been a lot more solid as we've talked about. Peterborough's really another one of those sides that are just weird, aren't they? And the biggest thing for Peterborough is the fact that, as I say, they're usually very reliable at home and score a shitload of goals, and then away from home, all of a sudden they can't they can't score anything. They can't hit whatever they
beat Ipswich 1-0.
Yeah, but they lost, didn't they?
Yes.
No, Peterborough drew 0-0 with Bristol Rovers.
I'm still looking at last week's results. Sorry, apologies.
But yeah, they beat Ipswich 1-0. You're right, but that was like a bit of a freak own goal in that.
They did miss a penalty as well somehow.
They did miss a penalty. That was hilarious. That penalty miss by Clark Harris. But the still thing remains. They seem to struggle away from home a lot more than they struggle at home. So maybe the fact that they've had a weird result against Bristol Rovers, they're going to go and take it out against this Shrewsbury Sound side. What do you think?
I mean, I just think you always back Peterborough. They're top 3 or 4 in the league. 2-0 Peterborough.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 3-1 Peterborough win.
Ooh. I mean, they do have the second best defense in the country, so...
Oxford have the best?
No, get over it. You don't do numbers correctly.
I use my eyes and my touch.
Mainly your touch.
You've got
Northampton Town. You announced the game.
Northampton Town. I feel like I've done this one before, but this is Wigan Athletic.
No one cares about either of these sides. This is going to be a tepid, awful encounter. Wigan are garbage. Northampton are as close to garbage as you can be. This one is going to end 1-0 to Wigan.
Oh my God, this one should be one of the greatest games ever. I can't wait to see it. You've got two sides that are the embodiment of boring football, no, that's not true at all. But you wouldn't expect it to be a classic. Both sides really, really need the points. I think Northampton will nick it. I think generally, I think Northampton will win 2-1. Is that what you said? I wasn't even listening.
Oh, I went 1-0 to the Wigan.
Oh, my Lord.
I went broke.
We have a full round of League One fixtures. So you've listened to us dribble on through 11 matches that really, who cares? Because it's time for the main event. It's time to see if we can make it a magnificent 7 wins in a row.
6 win in a row. Oxford United versus Joey Barton-less Fleetwood.
As we said, 6 wins in a row. They've just come off the back of a crazy 4-3 win against Rochdale. Again, you know, you can click in the cards and you can see our review on that one. And they've overcome a hoodoo last weekend against Bristol Rovers by beating them by 2-0, which is a game they never win. But once again, for the second week in a row, Tom, I find myself flinging myself to my knees in front of you and absolutely begging you to not back Oxford in this game.
I'm going to let you talk some more. I just want to point out that Fleetwood's last win came in the 12th of December against, and I'll let you guess the team.
The 12th of December, was it against Swindon?
It was indeed. That is the last time they had a win. And before that, they hadn't had a win for like 6 games either. Okay. They have been on an awful run of form.
That may or may not be the case. I don't know. It sounds like you're making a lot of that up, to be perfectly honest with you. But just, I want you to picture me. I want you to picture me on my knees in front of you, begging you. I want you to just have that image in mind. And there's nothing dirty or sexual about it before anyone says anything. It's purely friendship. And I'm imploring you not to back Oxford in this game, because you talked about Fleetwood's last win. But when was Oxford's last win against Fleetwood?
Ian, just remind me, was the curse broken last week? Did we break the curse?
That was a different curse.
Did we break the curse?
Brings many curses.
Was the curse broken, though? Was there a curse broken?
We did.
Right. We did. Well, in that case, another curse is going to get broken this week, because this Oxford United team are for real. And do you know how I know that? Because when we got on the phone today, because you were just a little bit annoyed that the team hadn't won the game, they scored instantly to remind you that this Oxford team is getting promoted this year, and they are ending all of the curses. They are ending the Kassam ownership. They will become promoted, be sold for 7.50, and become the greatest side in the bottom half of the championship.
If you want more in-depth detailed analysis on this fixture, then we may or may not be doing a preview video on it, which will be out later on in the week, as well as a live stream, which I'm sure Tom will be going on about in just a few seconds. But you are crazy, absolutely crazy. We never... This is a different curse altogether. This is something completely different to the Bristol Rovers one. We've never, ever beaten Fleetwood Town. We went up to Highbury earlier on in the season thinking we're going to break this curse. 45 seconds, we were 1-0 down. Tom,
that was Joey Barton.
The omens
Joey Barton, Fleetwood.
The omens all point towards a Fleetwood Town win. I cannot back against Oxford because it's very biased opinions and we cannot show weakness. But I just think you're absolutely crazy for doing this. I think Oxford somehow, hook or by crook, will win 2-1. But they're not going to, because Fleetwood will win because it's a curse.
I'm going 2-0. It's not a curse, Ian. It's made to be broken. And Big Carl doesn't believe in curses. I hear he's had the sage out all week. I hear he's been doing seances in the middle of the pitch. There's a rumor that the reason that Zap Brannigan almost lost his sight was because they were sacrificing a goat and the blood exploded out and hit him in the eye in preparation for this match. They've been preparing for this since they lost.
Right.
Carl was ready.
Shouldn't really laugh about things like that. And it wasn't a rumor.
What, the goat? Or the eyesight?
That was a genuine fact.
everybody who watched this, thank you very much for joining in. Friday is the Oxford United preview show where we will go over Oxford United versus Fleetwood. I will do some actual research into how Fleetwood play. Ian will pretend he knows something about Oxford United, and we will try and come up with a semblance of how the match will go that won't involve goats being sacrificed. If you enjoyed this...
No. All I'm going to be doing is a 10-minute and what's the word? I can't think of it. I'm going to be doing I can't think of the fucking word.
Well, all Ian tries to figure out is
enchantment, something like that.
Sure. Yes, an enchantment. Ian will be performing an enchantment. I'll be talking football tactics. If you like this, hit like, subscribe, check below, go to Grandstand Betters. They're a fantastic website. I'm going to end this before he starts thinking. We love you, and we'll speak to you soon.